Welcome back, everyone. Well, tonight on Get Psyched, we are talking about cultural slang. And if you don't know, maybe dictionary.com will refresh your memory. They designated 6-7 as its word of the year for 2025, describing it as meaningless, ubiquitous, and nonsensical. And while some of our viewers might not be using this phrase on the daily, if you have kids at home, you might be pretty familiar with it. And you might be more familiar yourself with earlier slang terms like the bee's knees, cool, sick, wicked. Why does each generation seem to develop and use their own slang? Here to discuss is Dr. Janine Hubbard. Hi.
Hi, who definitely doesn't use 6-7, but was, again, it's amazing just to see how powerful slang is, but also just how much it seems to change decade by decade.
Totally, and we get such a kick out of that. I know my nephews love to do the whole 6-7 thing, so it's fun. It's existed for centuries as informal, but it does go deeper. Looking at it from an anthropological level, what exactly is slang for cultures?
Oh, absolutely. So we know that, again, this has been around for quite a long time, and it's thought that maybe it started within kind of the criminal underworld as a way of basically talking about illegal things they were doing without letting on that that was happening. But there has always been, whether it's a cultural group, but in particular what we've been seeing is kind of with each generation, youth in particular are embracing slang terms as a form of kind of connection, very quickly abandoning them and moving on to new ones. But it does really seem that, like I say, it's something that is very fixed in time and has some great emotional connections to it.
Yeah, the nostalgia of it is really powerful. I think psychologically, it's got a lot of upsides. It connects us generationally. It brings us back to a moment in time. You asked me off camera what my favorite term was. I couldn't really think of something right off by heart, but Mike Connors and I were talking about The Simpsons and things like dough and things that really set us aside as people who grew up in the 90s. How about yourself?
Oh, well, Glenn and I are 80s kids, so we have been like Valley Girl, like totally for sure. That was that was totally awesome or gnarly. And we've been having fun, and it's been lovely nostalgia. But also what I've seen is, again, that generational divide, and you do not use terminology necessarily from other generations. But why is it so important? It forms this instant social, emotional connection. It's kind of like a Newfoundlander hearing another Newfoundlander in the airport and immediately going, I know who you are. We have a connection. And especially if it means it bugs the adults or they don't know what's going on, that just makes it even more powerful. But heaven forbid they start using it. You're going to see it switch very quickly. It comes from a lot of pop culture. Obviously, we have movie phrases. 6-7 was a TikTok thing. And what we have seen is that with global media, my goodness, it's not just, within one little class or one little school that you're seeing terminology come in and become popular. It can instantly, within a couple of days, become a global phenomenon. It can also shift and move on to something else the next day. So, I'm not even sure which generation we're doing this, but stop trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah, super cringe. Oh gosh, we've just killed everything that was actually probably long dead before we started talking about it.
But you know what? It's an important form of emotional and social connection. It's fun, it's silly, it's lighthearted. Be careful using it in formal situations, because that can cause you a few workplace issues.
Indeed. All right, well, this is great. I mean, we could deep dive this from Canadiana to local here at home. You touched on being at the airport, but it's always really interesting. And, well, maybe we can connect next year when we look back at 6-7 and say, that was so dumb, and we'll be on to something that's completely out of the vernacular.
I was going to say, hey, hoser, take off.
All right, Dr. Hubbard, thanks so much for being here this evening.
Thanks.